The Alumni Association Board member and UMBC Training Center's President, Kent Mowitz, chaired the committee. Serving with him were the Alumni Association board members Kevin Mulrow, Irina Vishnevetsky, Kara Freeman, Dr. Crystal Watkins, Phil Jones, and Jason Chamberlain, as well as Yvette Mosey Ross, who's the Associate Provost for Enrollment Management and a UMBC alumni herself, and a member of UMBC's Black and Latino alumni chapter. Melissa Evans, who's the president of the chapter of Young Alumni Steering Committee, and Dr. Tiffany Bright, member of the Meyerhoff alumni chapter. In addition, we have a recent alumni graduate and last year's Rising Star Award winner, Delali Jaraza. He joins us here tonight to serve on the committee, as did Rachel Sturge of UMBC's Graduate Student Association. If you will, please join me in thanking them for all their hard work. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for this year for helping to support the event. Morgan Stanley, who's our True Grit sponsor, and the UMBC Training Centers, who are our Black and Gold sponsor. I'd also like to thank and recognize our past award winners. I just got the list and I don't know where I put it, so forgive me. But if you could, our past award winners, if you could just stand up for a week so we could give you some recognition as well. We really appreciate the fact that you take the time to come back and help us honor our current honorees. And finally, as our award recipients are aware, Dr. Hrabowski couldn't be here tonight. He's so involved with the students on campus. He's really invested in the students, and that really carries over to the alumni. And this is one of his favorite events, because it really is the one time that we really get to honor the fantastic alumni that we have at this university. But the good news is that the reason that he's not here is that he's in Pittsburgh. He has to accept an award on behalf of UMBC. He's been awarded the Heinz Award. The Heinz Awards are given in honor of the late Senator John Heinz, to recognize outstanding individuals for their contributions in the areas of arts and humanity, environment, the human condition, public policy, and technology, and economics and employment. So this very evening, Dr. Hrabowski is in Pittsburgh accepting an award for the human condition. And going along with that is the small sum of a $250,000 award. So I think we can give him a pass on not being here for tonight. And he is going directly for the recently established Hrabowski Fund for Innovation here at UMBC. So it's going back to the university for a very good cause. And it's going to be, it's something that is really an honor, not just for him, but for all of UMBC, because it really keeps the school and the entire university system really at the forefront, not only locally, but nationally. It's now my pleasure to ask Dr. Philip Rouse, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, to come up and make some initial remarks.
Good evening, everybody. And I think more importantly, welcome home. I also have some good news and some bad news this evening, as well as bad. The good news is tonight I don't get to talk after Freeman. The bad news is I'm not Freeman. But although Freeman can't be with us tonight, I know that he would join me in saying that UMBC is receiving such national recognition in large part because of the accomplishments of its alumni. Each year, the UMBC community takes an opportunity to celebrate our outstanding alumni award recipients, alumni who are leading the way for others and having an impact on all facets of our society. I'm especially pleased that our awardees' families friends and colleagues and former professors are here with us this evening. Each year, this ceremony gives us all an opportunity to reflect on just how far UMBC has come. Our goal, after all, is to continually add to UMBC's accomplishments and reputation, so that all of us, whether student, faculty member, staff member, alumnus or alumna, can take pride in our university. So I thought I'd share with you just a very brief list, a sampling of the accomplishments that UMBC has achieved this last year. You may remember that 4 years ago, UMBC was named the #1 up-and-coming national university by US News and World Report. I remember it well at that time, us being delighted, of course, to be recognized in that way, but also some of us thinking, we're at the top, where is there to go? Last year, for the 4th year in a row, UMBC topped the US News ranking of up-and-coming universities. That designation recognizes universities that consistently find innovative ways to improve students' educational experiences. UMBC was also named one of the top national universities for undergraduate teaching, and we were tied with a number of universities I know you may not have heard of. Duke University, the University of California, Berkeley, the University of Chicago, and the University of Notre Dame. And I'm sure you've all seen and watched repeatedly the CBS 60 Minutes news story that aired last year and has been repeated, that referred to UMBC as one of America's most innovative colleges. I'd also like to just take this opportunity to cite just a few of the accomplishments of UMBC students. I guess we could call them future alumni. These are students that continue to assist UMBC in furthering its reputation of excellence. UMBC's Meyerhoff Scholars Program remains among the nation's leading producers of minority graduates in science and engineering who go on to earn PhDs or MD PhDs. UMBC ranks #1 among Maryland institutions for graduating the greatest number of students in computer and information science, according to the Cyber Maryland report that was commissioned by Governor O'Malley. What UMBC has achieved in the sciences, it has achieved in the humanities, the arts, and the social sciences. For example, UMBC theatre students have been invited to perform 7 times at the highly selective Kennedy Center American College Theatre Festival, an achievement that places UMBC Theatre among the top programs in the country. I would like to invite everyone to visit our wonderful new UMBC Performing Arts and Humanities building. This is a building that sits at the top of the hill that overlooks our campus, and it is a building, but more importantly, a place where it will permit all of UMBC's community to benefit from the very best in academic exploration of the arts and humanities. Like the outstanding alumni we honour this evening, UMBC students are outstanding examples of the best qualities of a UMBC education. I'm sure we could all name them. I'll just name just a few. Intellectually curious, creative, entrepreneurial in the broadest sense, committed to making a difference in the lives of others, and passionate and proud, as we all are, of UMBC. I am so very happy and so very proud to be here tonight that our alumni have come back to UMBC to celebrate what we have become because of you, and to let faculty and staff share in your celebration, and to have our students be inspired by your hard work and many achievements. As a moment of personal privilege, I just want to say, and this is one of the wonderful moments that I can have tonight, that in the audience tonight, one of our awardees is Dr. Kimani Stansel, a student who was in many of my classes in physics. And in fact, Kimani, I've moved around a little bit since then and put things in boxes. And I was looking through a box the other day, and what I found, you know how sometimes you don't get to hand the homework back to the students? And of course I found, actually at the top, a wonderful, amazing solution to a set of problems by Kimani. And, well, except for one little bit, Kimani, we'll sort that out later. I want to just finish by sharing with you a story. I think you all know, as Freeman often talks about, we are a place that is built upon our stories, the stories of our lives, of our faculty, staff, students, of our alumni. And so I want to tell you a little personal story, but one I hope, and I hope my colleagues will forgive me, but I hope will reflect the feelings of all of our faculty and staff about our alumni and our students. I know that all of you went through a graduation ceremony in some way, and it's a joyful occasion. It's a joyful occasion for all those who are receiving their diplomas or advanced degrees. It is also, of course, a joyful moment for every member of the faculty and staff at UMBC. Now, you might have wondered when you were at that event and you saw our faculty and our staff, some of us up on stage, some of us on the floor, some of us working at the event, you might have wondered just for a moment what we might have been thinking at that moment, or maybe what we might have been feeling. And so I thought I'd try and share with you my feelings in the hope, I believe, that it reflects the feelings of all of those faculty staff there at the night. Of course, it's really quite a bittersweet moment. It's sweet because, of course, we share the joy of those graduating. We share their achievement. And we're so excited about the future that lies before them. And like all of us here, we're very proud of the difference we have made in the lives of those students. That's why we're all here. But it's also a little bit bitter. Not too much, just a little bit. Because we see walking across the stage individuals who we've actually shared our lives with for 4, or perhaps in sometimes 4.5 years. And I wanted to let you know a little bit about that feeling. And it's because of that feeling of a natural renewal, but also a feeling of having shared your life with somebody for so many years, and then for them to move on to great things in the rest of their lives. I wanted to share that to you because that is why I think I can say this event tonight is such a wonderful event for all of us, but particularly for our faculty and staff. So I want to say once again, welcome. I hope I haven't talked for too long this evening, but I'd thank you very much for being here, and I'd like to welcome Bennett back to the podium to start our ceremony. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Provost Rouse. This year, as we do every year, the way we present our awards is by having the award recipients nominator come up and present the award to them. The first award that we're going to give out tonight is for our outstanding alumnus in the humanities, Greg Cangelosi, and he's going to be awarded the award by Chris Corbett, who's the acting chair and professor of practice in English, and he's representing former chair of the English department, Jessica Berman, excuse me, who can't be here. But Chris,
Well, the English department is convinced that this award tonight to Greg is an award to the most distinguished entrepreneur that we have ever produced. We apparently do not produce entrepreneurs, but we have now, and my colleagues feel that we are responsible for his successes. And that I should tell you that. We also, I must briefly boast, we are now 3 for 3. This is the 3rd year in a row we have had an English graduate honored by the university. Vicki Valentine, who's a distinguished producer at National Public Radio in Washington, and Jamie Smith Hopkins from the Baltimore Sun. So we are enchanted to congratulate Greg. He is a great honor to us, and we are very appreciative of the fact that he's maintained a relationship with the school and with our department. So I thank you all for coming down to see him tonight. Greg, please.
First of all, I'll be brief. Thank you so much to the Alumni Committee for selecting me, nominating me. This is a very humbling award for me to receive here at UMBC. For those of you, I know some of you know my story and some of you don't, but you're looking at someone that was told that they would never be able to go to college, shouldn't even bother applying to go to college. This is by my high school guidance counselor. And I'm also someone, not only should I not apply, but I probably wouldn't get through the coursework. So that particular guidance counselor has a special place in my heart, and specifically, you know, the sense of accomplishment and pride and joy that I had when I personally mailed him an invitement to my commencement ceremony at the Baltimore Arena in 1996. This is truly an honor, and I sometimes sit back and I often wonder what my life would be like if I had followed the advice of that particular guidance counselor, because UMBC has afforded me such an unbelievable experience just through my 4 years here in terms of leadership experience, management experience, obviously the academics and the social experience, really kind of well-rounded me for what I was going to become, which was an entrepreneur. And I just can't believe, you know, when I look back on my time at UMBC, it's just really been amazing, and it's so rewarding for me now at this point to be, like you said, maintain a relationship and actually be able to give back to UMBC, and it's just amazing what's happened to this university over the last 20 years. But I want to just take this moment also just to kind of dedicate this particular award to a couple of special people in the room tonight that are with me. First, my mother, who always instilled this idea in my mind from a very little kid that I could literally do anything that I wanted to do, or I could be anything I wanted to be. And that's a very special thing to instill in a child's mind, and thank you, Mom, for that. And then for my father, who always supported me through thick and thin, all of my endeavors, and mainly because of your awesome subscription to Entrepreneur Magazine that I read cover to cover for many, many years on end, which has inspired me to go on and start my own businesses and do things I'm doing today. And of course, my lovely wife, Teresa, who has supported me through literally thick and thin through all my endeavors. Once again, I love you all. Thanks for coming, and I very, very much appreciate this award, so thank you very much.
Congratulations, Greg. Our next award goes to Ms. Deborah Randall, Outstanding Alumna in Visual and Performing Arts. She will be introduced by Associate Professor of Theater, Dr. Alan Kreisenbeck, who nominated Ms. Randall for this award.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm going to move this. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. I am honored to be here. I am not Dr. Alan Kreisenbeck. Alan is in tech rehearsal tonight for his production of 3D and is unfortunately unable to get away. In fact, papal dispensation will not get you out of a tech rehearsal, so we'll pray for him. Thank you, good evening. It really is wonderful to be here. The Department of Theater, like UMBC, is known for its commitment to innovation. The Department of Theater is also known for its commitment to challenging the status quo. We stress new, creative ways of thinking in our classes, and we tenaciously hold to our ideals in production and in our everyday lives. We believe that our students take these lessons to heart, and more importantly, like Deborah Randall, acts upon them. In the words of our faculty, for us there is no one who better represents the spirit of innovation and tenacity than UMBC alumna Deborah Randall, founder and executive director of Venus Theater. Deborah came to campus as a non-traditional student, pursuing her bachelor's degree a few years later than most of her peers. She performed with distinction in several UMBC productions, and after graduation began pursuing a career as an actor and a playwright in Washington, D.C. Working for a while professionally, Deborah realized that she wasn't always fulfilled playing roles that others had created. She also realized two additional important things: that new playwrights had few venues in which to show their works, and that new playwrights who wrote plays with female protagonists had even fewer opportunities. Her dissatisfaction with these conditions, which valued neither women nor new playwrights, grew. Never one to sit back when she perceived a problem, Deborah decided to address the issue and plunge into the treacherous and unforgiving waters called creating your own theater. In 1995, Venus Theater came to life. Evident from the beginning was Deborah's commitment, firm commitment, to being of value to her community, to theater of social action with involvement in Take Back the Night marches and workshops for the House of Ruth, among other social outreach. With little financial support and through many lean times, Deborah consistently held to her convictions. Because of her hard work and tenacity, Venus Theater has attracted the kind of attention and recognition that only can be achieved by those who persevere with their vision and hold steadfast to their ideals. Mission-driven and evolving for over a decade, Venus Theater is committed to setting flight to the voices of women and children. Venus accomplishes this mission by developing and producing plays by and or about women, developing plays and educational opportunities for youth, and by collaborating with other social and arts organizations on projects that give women a safe forum in which to express themselves. Venus's work most often reflects the stories of underserved women, including, but not limited to, prisoners, immigrants, artists, historical figures, and their social issues and place in history. Deborah Randall and Venus Theater have lived a vibrant journey that has led the company through residences in Washington, D.C., in Baltimore, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York City. These explorations and experiences have shaped the company, informed them, and Venus has resolutely evolved into the present-day Venus Theater Play Shack, now in its permanent home in Laurel, Maryland. Today, Deborah expanded her artistic offerings to include productions for children and increased community outreach. And Venus Theater is enjoying a strong and continual growing audience base and financial support from both the private sectors and private individuals. Deborah Randall's accomplishments are numerous and speak to more than a decade of contribution. She and Venus Theater tout a growing list of awards and national recognition. Recognized for more than her commitment to social justice, equality, and change, Deb received the 2002 American Express Award for her work as Artistic Director of Venus, the 2004 American Theater Critics Award nomination, the 2004 and the 2005 Curve Magazine Play of the Year Award, and in 2009, Deborah Randall received the highly covetous, prestigious Helen Hayes Theater Artist Award. This is an accomplishment. Tonight we are honored to add to that list and bestow a 2012 Outstanding Alumni Award. Deb has been quoted as saying that the theater quite literally saved her life, and that she would like to give others the chance to have a similar experience. In the words of Alan Kreisenbeck, which, by the way, we look very much alike. I'm the younger, better-looking one. In the words of Alan, Deb's nominating faculty, there is no question that a society that has the opportunity to experience new, barrier-breaking, non-traditional theater is a society which finds itself continually and consistently renewed and enriched. This award celebrates Deborah Randall's vision and spirit. It acknowledges her achievements and the importance of her life's work. UMBC and the Department of Theater take pride in Deborah's innovative and tenacious spirit that so mirrors its own aspirations and accomplishments. Please join me in welcoming 2012 Outstanding Alumna of the Year, Deborah Randall.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hi, Wendy in the back. I just want to say, first, thank you to my husband, because certainly, nothing would have happened without that support. So just applaud him, because I don't mean to be bossy. Finally, well, I want to say that, you know, when I was here, it was such a different campus and still innovative. And I really remember my teachers and my fellow students, and just love being in the company of all of them. President Hrabowski, we were actually protesting at the time because there was danger of losing the theater program, so we just went crazy. And I remember him so clearly, and I remember saying, you know, this isn't right. And his response to all of us was simply, my door is open. And so we would meet with him. We would go in his office and we would say, this is what we think. And quite literally, as important as the classes were here, I think the events between the classes were also incredibly informing for my life today. Because now I know when I'm struggling against something, instead of screaming, which I do sometimes underwater, I just also say, can we sit down at a table and talk? So he taught me that, so I just thank the president for that. That was a huge lesson. And each teacher touched me, so special thanks to Alan Kreisenbeck for the nod and the nomination. That was amazing. Alice Robinson, rest her soul, her hair was always done, her makeup was always, and I just remember, I didn't know, I too was the first, I think, in my family to get a bachelor's degree, so I really didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't qualify for funding, and I was so confused, and before I auditioned for scholarships, and I thank the department for that as well, I was up in 318 and Alice was eating an apple slice out of her baggie that was very tidy, as she did every single day at a certain time, and so contained, and I remember I don't know what I'm going to do, and she said to me, don't you give up. Don't you dare give up. And sorry, so thank you, Alice. And then Xerxes Maida, who says, you know, you're very talented, but you have to dig, you have to dig. And Sam McCready, who, why am I crying? European moderns, you know, would say, there are some scripts that don't breathe, and then on the shelf, there are some scripts that just have this life. And you just read and you feel that, you know, and I take that from Sam. And mostly from my mentor, Wendy, I'm releasing my spine. And Wendy taught me, as I studied with her beyond school privately for 7 years in Alexander Technique, and I would come back and get some great jobs and say, I'm still not satisfied. And she would listen so patiently, and her advice became my mantra, which is, if it doesn't exist, create it. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you all so much.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Deb. Our next award winner is Ms. Stephanie Hill, this year's Outstanding Alumna in Engineering and Information Technology. Ms. Hill will be introduced by Dr. Penny Reingens, Professor of Computer Science and Electrical Engineering.
So I didn't know Stephanie when she was a student here. I can claim no personal credit for her at all, but I've been touched and impressed by her story. It's a very prototypical UMBC story. She came here expecting to do something else. And in that UMBC way, took a class in computing, was surrounded by people that would have looked very different than she did in that class, and fell in love. Fate intervened and she went in a different direction. She started at Lockheed Martin, a career as a software engineer. The accomplishments built very quickly and the awards followed very quickly as well. Most Promising Black Engineer of the Year, Lockheed Martin Engineer of the Year, Top 100 Women in Maryland. She's traveling next week to accept a Career Achievement Award at a very young age, and she certainly has much more career left to go. She remains at Lockheed Martin. She's President of Information Systems and Global Solutions. She's on the Governor's P20 Leadership Board, where she's informing STEM policy, and the Board of Directors of the Greater Baltimore Committee. Closer to our heart, she remains engaged with UMBC, mentoring current students on their way in life, helping new graduates find their place in the workforce in a new place. Speaking particularly of the importance of finding the balance between work and life in maintaining a healthy person for a whole life. I'm so pleased to be able to introduce this smart and strong woman and claim her for my department and my university, if not for me personally. Please welcome Stephanie Hill.
Thank you so much, and thank you. I just met Penny tonight, and so I really appreciate you nominating me, and I really appreciate the whole Alumni Association for selecting me. 30 years ago, this fall, I started on this campus. It's hard to believe it. It's even harder to say it out loud in front of all of you guys. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I was going to major in economics, I was going to get an accounting certificate, and I was going to be a CPA. And I was clear on that. And then in my second semester of my freshman year, I took a class in Introduction to Programming. Now those of you, and many of you are younger than I am, it was in COBOL. And even though I was the last class to use punch cards, does anybody remember punch cards? Okay, yeah, all the hands went up, this is great. I was the last class to use punch cards, so I'm really not that old. And long nights of trying to get the daggone program to compile and then to get it to execute, you're right, I felt absolutely in love with programming. And so for the rest of the time, I kept taking programming courses, because these were still electives, and economics courses, because this was my major. And I didn't know what to do. Junior year, you had to decide. The good news was we had a career center that had wonderful people who just cared about the students of UMBC. And I went there and they said, you know what? Why don't you try working and see what you like? And so I got a co-op in my sophomore year, and I co-opted at the Department of Labor in Washington one semester of my sophomore, junior, and senior years, and it was in software. And I realized I had truly fallen in love. But I still couldn't decide. And the wonderful spirit of UMBC and the faculty said, you don't have to. If you want to do both, you can do both. And so I did, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my family, because I can tell you, with all of the amazing things that I've been blessed to be able to experience and accomplish, I could not have done it without them. I thank the Alumni Association, and particularly you, Penny, because we don't know each other, for nominating me, and for you, we didn't know each other. We know each other. For nominating me, and for the association for accepting me. Thank you for UMBC, for everything that it is now. Every time I come to this campus, there's always a new building or something. For what you have become under Dr. Hrabowski's leadership, making a difference in so many lives, and thank you for what you were when I was here, because you made a difference in my life. Congratulations to my fellow honorees. We have something special going on.
Congratulations, Stephanie. Our next award is given to Miss Elizabeth Rossman, this year's Outstanding Alumna in Social Sciences. The award will be presented by Dr. Art Johnson, Professor of Political Science and Provost Emeritus, who nominated Ms. Robinson for this award.
I'm very pleased to have Beth Rossman here tonight. You know, Saturday night we had a celebration of Freeman Hrabowski's 20th anniversary as president. And I wish everyone could have been there because it really sets the context for tonight. Not only were the accomplishments celebrated, but we also had time to reflect on the significant changes that have occurred to our university since its founding in 1966. And that perspective, I think, sets the context for tonight. I know all the honorees are proud to have this award, but UMBC is so grateful to you for making us what we've become. This is your university, just as it is our students' university, and there'll be alumni years from now and others to follow. But this is really your institution. When I nominated Beth Rossman, I wanted to recognize her for her many career accomplishments and personal success. But I saw her nomination as more than just that, and it was in that spirit that I put it forward. In a time when government is depicted as evil and public employees are daily denigrated, I see Beth's career and dedication to the public interest as symbolic of public employee talent, professionalism, and dedication. And UMBC produces a significant number of those employees, public employees, whether it's at the federal level, state level, or the local level of government. Beth's career can be viewed not only as symbolically representative of those UMBC graduates, but perhaps more importantly, I think Beth's career serves as a model for future UMBC graduates who will enter public service. Throughout her career with the federal government, Beth was regularly recognized for the quality of her work. When she was accepted into the senior executive service, the elite of federal employees, she was one of the youngest members and one of only a few female members. The bulk of her career was with the Office of Management and Budget, working in the executive office of the president. A synopsis of her career is in your program, but I want to specifically note the following. First, Beth's dedication made her exceptional. I recall hearing her stories about receiving phone calls at 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning to come in to find, or was it to fix, an error in the national budget before it was going to be released in the next 24 hours. Think of the size of the federal budget. I don't think I'm exaggerating, but the point is that being called upon at any time, because she was the one person who could resolve an issue, was not uncommon. Dedication. Second, Beth contributed to the development of the legislative strategy that was central to the enactment of the $40 billion omnibus spending bill to address the immediate needs of defense and homeland security in the aftermath of September 11th terrorist attacks. Strategic thinker, recognized for her expertise, the type of student that Freeman likes to talk about. They think really good, he says. Third, in her last position with the federal government, Beth advised the director and other senior OMB officials on all aspects of the legislative process as it pertained to the president's budget, including relevant authorization legislation and all appropriation measures. She dealt with members of Congress and their staff, senior White House, OMB, and agency officials. She had lead responsibility in the executive branch for the development of statements of administration policy on appropriation bills and represented the White House, the Office of Management and Budget, and agency officials. She was a trusted, respected, and authoritative advisor and negotiator. In sum, As is expected of our civil servants, she fulfilled her responsibilities faithfully, regardless of which party controlled the presidency. The gridlock and partisan rhetoric that is reported daily in the media does not reflect the work that is being carried out every day by professional civil servants. It is this work, exemplified by the career of Beth Rossman, that ensures that our government continues to function. And I don't think I exaggerate when I say that. Beth continues to be involved in policymaking, but from the outside, as she is currently Vice President for Government Relations at Honeywell. Her job takes her around the world. She works successfully in a world, the defense world, that is male-dominated, and maintains the respect of her former colleagues and others who depended upon her speaking truth to power. UMBC is proud to honor Beth, as we are proud to honor all the other awardees tonight as our graduates, and that we have in some way contributed, and we're proud that we've some way contributed to their success. And I hope that Beth and the other awardees are proud of the progress that we have made since their time here. I'm very honored to introduce Beth Rossman.
I normally have a very big mouth. I don't normally need microphones. The funniest thing is, a very good friend of mine is a woman named Elizabeth Ross. Now I'm confused. Elizabeth Robinson, and she's the Chief Financial Officer at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. We've had a lot of funny email mix-ups over the years. So I want to thank UMBC for this incredible honor. If anybody had told me decades ago, apparently, that I would be standing here, it's just incredible to me, and I really thank everybody who's gotten me to where I am. I especially want to thank Dr. Art Johnson. He believed in me, and he pushed me, and maybe sometimes he shoved me to pursue a career in public administration. I was very lucky to have such a wonderful mentor and friend, and he's really contributed to my career in all facets. I often tell my friends and my family, some of who are here today, that I'm surely one of the luckiest persons around career-wise, and it all started at UMBC. As Dr. Johnson said, I spent 20 years with the federal government after leaving UMBC, with a short stint in graduate school, again shoved by Dr. Johnson. And at the end of that career, I'd risen to the Associate Director of Legislative Affairs at the White House Office of Management and Budget. For the record, the federal budget deficit was a lot smaller when I left 7 years ago. It's kind of a mess right now. I got to meet presidents, cabinet secretaries, and members of Congress throughout my career in the public sector, and there were some amazing, sad, challenging times. My education at UMBC gave me the confidence that I needed and the skills required to build that career and to deal with many different and, again, very challenging circumstances. While I transitioned to the private sector a few years ago, I still rely on the foundation that I built here and the skills that I retained many decades ago. I still can't believe it's a decade. When I walked here, you can't believe that buildings have changed. The students are walking around with iPads and iPhones. I learned on punch cards too. I literally returned from a business trip to Minnesota a few hours ago, where I met with the Speaker of the Minnesota House, the Mayor of Minneapolis, and the Governor's Chief of Staff. I still use all the skills I learned at UMBC, just from a very different vantage point, and it's all about public administration. It always has been for me. Thanks to everybody who's gotten me here. My mom and dad, I'm sure, are watching. I grew up in Catonsville. This was a very short trip here. This is just a wonderful honor. The way this place has grown is just amazing, and I hope to continue to contribute. Thank you.
Congratulations, Beth. I think for me, I think that was just a lisp that I took over a little bit. Our next award is going to be given to Dr. Kamani Stansel, this year's outstanding alumnus in the natural, I'm a little bit of the list coming back here, natural and mathematical sciences, who will be introduced by Ms. Ernestine Baker, Executive Director of the Meyerhoff Scholars Program.
Good evening. I'm very pleased and honored to be here this evening and I feel like a very proud parent. I first met Kamani Stansel during his senior year in high school. He graduated from Baltimore Polytechnic Institute and was nominated to take part in the selection process for the first class of Meyerhoff Scholars. Kamani went on to become one of 20 African American men selected to be a Meyerhoff Scholar in 1989. In terms of the Meyerhoff program, I consider Kamani to be one of the pioneers of the program. And as a sidebar, we're recruiting our 25th class of Meyerhoff Scholars. Can't believe this. But one of the students, a couple of students actually in the 20 class did research at Cornell University. And they shared with me a story of seeing this gentleman walk around the campus, and they heard that he was very bright and intelligent and was doing a very special project on campus, but they didn't say anything other than hello. When they finally got the chance to talk, they found that they were both Meyerhoff Scholars from UMBC. So the students called me and said, Mrs. Baker, I met an M1. An M1. You know, I think it's great to have students excited about the brain as many are about those who are rock stars. And so I really appreciated that, and they just love the fact that they met an M1. What a wonderful and outstanding example of a scholar he established and maintained. Kamani knew what he wanted to do. He was serious and compassionate. We had a hard time keeping up with him. I remember when I thought he was finally graduating, and he said, Ms. Baker, I think I'm going to stay around another year. For you see, I would like to add a second degree. He wanted to add mathematics to his physics degree. Over the years, Kamani has remained in contact with the program, keeping us updated on and offering help when he could. I knew when he completed his PhD, where and when he pursued his postdoc, about his marriage, and the arrival of his baby girl. She's a big girl now. This continued contact meant a lot to all of us, and we all felt how much he appreciated the support that he received while here at UMBC. After receiving his degree in physics and mathematics from UMBC in 1994, Dr. Kamani Stansel proceeded to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, where he obtained in 2002 his PhD in physics, studying polymer gels. Before beginning a postdoctoral fellowship in 2004 in nanoscience at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory at the University of California, Berkeley, he spent a little over a year teaching mathematics, science, and chess to grade 3 through 8 at Baltimore City's Marifa Elementary and Middle School. He later donated all of his earnings to the school. After his postdoctoral research in 2008, Dr. Stansel was appointed Assistant Professor of Physics at Howard University, where he currently teaches courses in calculus-based introductory physics, mechanics, electricity, magnetism, and a course in graduate statistics mechanics. In his short career, Dr. Stansel has also produced one physics PhD. He graduated in the summer of 2012. 5 publications plus 2 recently submitted and 3 more in preparation, and has received external and internal research grants. He is a master level chess player and former Maryland High School chess champion, and has steadily found ways to combine his interest in math and science to attract students from underrepresented groups for science. He is currently seeking external funding for his program, AYA, All You Can Aspire, which combines physics and chess in an effort aimed to inspire youth and the community. Dr. Stansel regularly serves as an unofficial mentor for students at UMBC, always giving back when possible. A member of the first cohort of Meyerhoff Scholars, he was the keynote speaker at the Meyerhoff Parent Graduation Dinner this current year. Dr. Kamani Stansel, the UMBC family embrace you and your family as you go through very challenging times at this moment. We extend to you our love, our continued thoughts, and our prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Kamani A. Stansel.
This is a cool looking award. UMBC, you must be creative. Wow. I had a good time here at UMBC. I think the people made the biggest difference. I think I was trained well at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Fell in love with physics, actually not in high school, not in college, but in my home. My father was a physics major when he went to Morgan State College in Baltimore, where he met my mother, who was a social science major. And the two of them founded a school in Baltimore City, and it lasted for 30 years. Eventually that school went from pre-K to 8th grade. And I had the honor to take the time to teach at the school. And my sister was also a biopsychology PhD, also has taken time to teach at the school. And my wife, who's a PhD, also from MIT in electrical engineering, has also taken time to teach at the school. And I'm very thankful for being born to two outstanding parents. I'm very thankful to have an outstanding family whose love I've always felt, even if our frequency of contact was ever changing. And at UMBC, I should first comment on Dr. Rouse. The story he gave you was not far off at all. He was actually one of my favorite physics teachers, and one I have not really seen as often as I would like in later years. He helped introduce me to electricity and magnetism in a preliminary way just by showing me a book that I could read to advance myself, and so I went and read it. And also, one day I was sick and I missed class, showed up, I had to take a test. I got graded a little bit low, but then Dr. Rouse and I spent an hour discussing my creative solution, which examined in thermodynamics the Clausius and Kelvin statements. And I guess on some level I have to thank my mathematics training for that, because I was very well versed in proving things, and it really came in handy. The physics department as a whole at UMBC was very supportive to me, and others. I mean, we had a small number of majors. You might say we had serious majors and not so serious majors, but sometimes we put it in terms of people who are in the workforce and those who are trying to scratch their way through their academics and really figure out some of nature's puzzles. And realizing that we couldn't figure them out, all we could do was model them and then sit back and enjoy the ride at some level. I was able to take my early experiences at UMBC, especially those experiences that dealt with being a part of a team, to MIT. And I felt like they were invaluable for me always sticking it out. Okay? Things always get rough whenever you're trying hard to master something. It happens in chess, it happens in anything that you think you love or think you want to keep doing for extended periods of time, with the exception probably of television. Right? The Nobel Prize is probably won with the TV off. However, I like to think that in the same vein of the Nobel Prizes, one, you have to be alive to receive those awards. So I'm glad I'm still alive to receive this award. And it's unfortunate that my father passed when I was in graduate school, and my mother is really in critical health at this moment. However, sometimes the Nobel Prize is given to persons for the tremendous impact that the persons have on their field. It was true for Clifford Shull and their neutron scattering. It's true for Andrew Geim for graphene. And I think it's true for all of us who wish to create our dreams in trying to push forward something that we conceive that others may not understand how to push forward. We might not even understand how to push it forward, but we believe in those dreams and we make them happen. And so I think one thing that I take pleasure in is that at UMBC there was a structure, be it the Meyerhoff program, be it Freeman Hrabowski, be it Ernestine Baker, be it Sue Boyer, be it Don Pureman, be it Philip Rouse, be it Paula Ashby, be it so many people, especially those who dealt with the recreational area. I thought I was going to leave that out for a minute, but I used to play a lot of games in between class. That was fun. That was a great impact on my creativity. But in all of these experiences, I like to think that what UMBC is about is making moves and progress for the mind that can change generations and financial welfares of families. And I try to do that now as a professor. And actually, my first PhD student did a project on nonlinear dynamics. I'm a condensed matter person. The project was on nonlinear dynamics of heart rate variability. She has 2 children, and she was an excellent, excellent student. And now with the PhD and her new job at some fort, I'm going to leave nameless, Fort Meade, she will be able to impact her family in ways that she probably only dreamed about before. I will relish continuing to. Thank you again. It's an honor.
Congratulations, Kamani. Our next award, and this award's only been in existence for 4 years. It acknowledges the outstanding achievements and promise of a recent graduate. Here to present the Rising Star Award to Mr. Christopher Valentino is Dr. Arya Gangopadhyay, Professor and Chair of the Department of Information Systems.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to introduce Chris Valentino, for the Rising Star Award. We could not have made a better choice. I think you'll agree with me if you go through his accomplishments. He's currently the Director of Contract Research and Development at Northrop Grumman. He's an expert, a recognized expert in the field of cybersecurity and information assurance. He's also a business leader, and he has led teams of cybersecurity professionals in excess of 200 in building solutions that are of national importance. He is a very successful entrepreneur. He founded a technology company called Windermere, which was acquired by Essex and subsequently by Northrop Grumman. Chris graduated from Information Systems with a Bachelor of Science in 2002 and a Master of Science in 2006. He's an alumni who cares for UMBC and has been instrumental in developing a strategic partnership between Northrop Grumman and UMBC, which has helped support research, teaching, technology innovation, and career opportunities for our graduates. He has contributed to the development of a very successful MPS program, degree and certificate programs in cybersecurity, and he also serves as an external advisory board member on cybersecurity here at UMBC. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Rising Star Award winner, Chris Valentine.
Well, good evening, and thank you to the selection board, and thank you to my family, my mom, and my father who passed some years ago. So first, let me say I'm living proof that an English major and an art major can produce an engineer. What's that? So there's hope. Now, I have 3 girls. I'm not sure what that comes out to what a business major and an engineering major get, but we're going to find out in a few years. Artists. So let me first say, 15 years ago, when I first walked on campus, I came for orientation day, and I was in the rack down the way, and I heard Freeman's famous look left, look right speech. And in other universities, look left, look right means you're not going to be here because we're going to push you out because it's too hard. And in UMBC, look left, look right means that you are in an environment that is geared for success and provides you the tools and the opportunity to succeed in life. So for that, I am thankful. The time I spent both at UMBC and outside of UMBC, this experience here has always been quite instrumental in everything I've done. And it's been an important part of who I am. I spent a lot of time with the university, and we've done some great things in the last few years, building a partnership to help serve the population here, both from a diversity standpoint for underrepresented students in science, technology, engineering, and math, and also for small businesses to provide them the means to be able to grow and excel in our specific marketplace that's important to national security. So I'm truly humbled to receive this award. It's a great honor, but I must say that I share this award with my partners here on campus, Greg Simmons, Carolyn, Allison, Dr. Hrabowski. It's really all of us who have gotten to the accomplishment level I think I've received to actually have this award. So I thank everyone for that, and I'm just very happy to be part of this community and to be presented with these opportunities. So thank you.
Our final award this evening acknowledges the achievements of a great academic leader, one whose talents have received national recognition, who, though not himself a graduate of UMBC, is integral to the fabric of UMBC as its many outstanding alumni. You could probably guess by the description who this may be. Here to make some remarks regarding the Distinguished Service Award and for UMBC President Dr. Freeman Hrabowski is Mr. Kent Malwitz, President of the UMBC Training Centers.
Thanks, Betty. Good evening, everyone. We're almost through the awards, so food awaits afterwards. As we know, Dr. Hrabowski is in Pittsburgh receiving the Heinz Foundation Human Condition Award, and I thought I'd read the description of this award so you can understand its significance. This award honors individuals who have developed and implemented significant new programs to improve the human condition. The award seeks to recognize outstanding efforts to empower and protect all individuals based on a fundamental belief that the degradation or victimization of any of us ultimately impoverishes us all. That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty good award to win. So I know Dr. Hrabowski, well, in addition to that, as Bennett mentioned, this also comes with $250,000. So an illustrious award, $250,000, which has been donated to the Academic Innovation Fund to allow us to continue to develop new innovative programs to propel our students and our university forward. I know when he received word about this award and realized that the awards were on the same night, he was very conflicted. And in the true spirit of collaboration that Freeman has, he reached out to the awards committee and said, what do we do? What should we do? And at first, the awards committee, we got together and we thought, well, maybe we'll reschedule. And then we thought, well, we can't do that because he's probably going to win another award some other night. He'll be called by Bill Cosby, his new best friend, during the gala, or the president, or who knows what, be on a television show. So we thought that wouldn't work. And then we realized, well, maybe he should go because $250,000, you know, we don't want to risk that. And once they figure out that UMBC stands for University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and they make the Ravens-Steelers connection, maybe they would pull the money back. And finally we thought maybe they have a must be present to win policy, and we could really use the $250,000. You'd be surprised what an innovative university can do with $250,000. So we encouraged him to go. We said, go, receive the award, get the check, deposit the check, and it really just serves as a perfect example of the recognition that he has brought to the university, which is an example of the great service that he has provided to all of us. So for this, we're delighted to honor Dr. Hrabowski with the 2012 Distinguished Service Award, and we have a quick...
Good evening to everybody. I am so sorry I can't be there. Actually, this evening I will be in Pittsburgh receiving a very special award on behalf of the university. And we're getting awards around the country because of what we're able to accomplish. And what do we accomplish? We produce great graduates, you, the alumni. The bios of the people this year are absolutely phenomenal. It's so clear that our alumni are becoming leaders in their fields around the country and beyond. And so congratulations to all of the outstanding alumni. And finally, I was really surprised to hear that you were giving me the Distinguished Service Award. This is a true honor. I'm surprised, I feel humble, but most of all, I feel blessed to be at UMBC. Thanks to all the alumni and all of my colleagues.
So before I turn it back over to Bennett, I do want to say one last word. I invite all of you to join Dr. Hrabowski at the Homecoming Community Picnic on Saturday from 11 to 2 so that you can congratulate him personally. Thank you very much.
We'd like to ask Provost Rouse up for some final remarks.
Thank you, Bennett. I guess I was wrong. I do get to speak after Freeman this evening. We'll carry on. I just wanted to really take this opportunity to thank Bennett, the Awards Committee, and the Alumni Association for everything that they do. I'd like to thank our faculty who join us here tonight for everything you do and will do for our university. Most especially, I'd like to thank our staff, especially the many people who work so hard to organize tonight's event. And I know I can't name them all. They're all standing right back there. Greg, Susan, thank you so much for making this such a great event. I wanted to share with you a quote that I learned from Freeman. I thought it was something that would have great meaning to all of us here tonight, but most especially to our award winners. And I believe this originated from Aristotle. It's very simple. And it says that excellence is never an accident. Excellence is never an accident. So thank you so much for being here and joining us today. Welcome home. Please join us for refreshments and conversation after this event. Thank you for being here, and let's finish by thanking all of our awardees again.